Okay, next we have the county judge position. Rick Davis, you're up first.
Okay. Thank you, Alan. I'm going to use the podium.
Sure.
We'll start the clock. 3 minutes is short. I wasn't prepared for a short time. Most of you know me, I don't like speaking anyway, so this works out. But I do want to start out by thanking Alan for the invitation to come here and for us to get to know each other better. And I also want to thank Alan for his many years on the Election Commission. I thought he did a great job, and I hated to see him go. But I do appreciate that. Basically, I was going to tell you a little more about my background, but I can't in 3 minutes. But, you know, I was born here in Garland County in Hot Springs. I was raised in California and Nevada. We returned here after I got out of high school, basically because my dad had some health problems. And so it was better for us to come back to this area. And so as a teenage kid, I went to work and tried to help support my mom and dad and my brother. I met my wife. We've been married for 32 years. We have 2 sons, 2 daughter-in-laws, and 4 grandchildren. And I'm very proud of the kids for what they're doing now. I started my first business when I was 24 in 1977. And basically, that started from a small business and progressed into a fairly large business. I had as many as 50 plus employees at any one given time. We did work all over the state of Arkansas as well as surrounding states. My utility contractor's license was municipal utility, heavy highway, and airport construction. Basically, that's what my knowledge and background is about. I had semi-retired in 2005, kind of enjoying life, living on the farm, taking care of my cows, and kind of part-time running my other business that I had. And some people hit me up to run for county judge. And so they talked me into that, and I was basically elected in 2010 and took office in 2011. When I walked into office, there was quite a bit of things that needed to be done. Basically, the detention center. We had a jail built for 88, had over 200 people in it. The judges were continually letting people loose. So, you know, that was one of them. Each individual department that's under my control is the road department, environmental services, emergency management, maintenance of all buildings. All those things needed attention. And so I kind of evaluated those things and got started. We also had a lot of road problems and still do. We had a radio problem, and I experienced that in the 2011 disaster when the tornado went from one side of Garland County to the other. Our first responders could not communicate with each other, and it was a bad deal, a real cluster trying to get people where they needed to be and what they needed to do. We have a dispatch center. Garland County has 5 dispatch centers in Garland County. That's a major issue that needs to be talked about and worked out. For public safety, basically you may get transferred 3 times when you call 911 before you get to the place to send somebody to help you. That needs to be worked on. But from the beginning, we started concentrating on the jail. The jail, the public passed a tax, you guys know that. We built the jail. We built it by listening to the public, basically, and the needs assessment. The public said they wanted a jail that changed people's lives. We got that. They wanted a jail that didn't look like a prison, and we got that as well. That was all figured into the design process. When Alan's rushing me here. You know, that was a long, tedious process, and basically that is over with. We have a model jail that is the model of the state of Arkansas. A lot of people are taking notice of that now, and I will tell you on September the 27th, basically, I got the call that we have enough money to pay those bonds off, so on the 27th, I sent a letter to the state asking for that tax to be removed, and with at the end of this quarter, the 5/8 cents should come off the tax rolls, which is what we promised the people at the sunset. Basically, all I'm going to say is, you know, I've had 6 years. We've got some things to do. I'm asking for your vote in November, and let's keep continuity and leadership and keep things progressing forward. Thank state that we have to set the bond, get everything in place, and I'm hoping to get that done so that January 1st, we can put that into motion so that the cities as well as the county can start the process, and by the middle of next summer, hopefully, we'll be seeing some of that work start.
Is there a plan for streets, roads, whatever?
That's going to be an analysis process. You know, we got a list, a long list that's more than we got money for. But basically, we're going to go through and look at the highest traffic counts in the unincorporated area, the problem areas that need to be fixed, and we're going to try to address them based off of those issues, safety issues and traffic counts. The expressway, I have asked the state to move it up from July to January, and I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, but we'll hope that it will. You know, their plans was to start design in July, and to start the process, I'd like to see that come on up to January, and let's see that start moving forward. So basically, that's, we got to get that organized to get it started. Another priority is radios. We're going to do something about radios this next year. And we're not going to ask for taxes on the county side. We're going to try to get a system that would help all first responders throughout the county. And that means the city as well, hopefully. And it's just, there's a lot of unanswered questions, but we've got to make some decisions and make that happen. Yes, ma'am.
The radio system, do you have a dollar figure estimate?
Not totally,
Just
but somewhere in the $4 to $4.5 million range.
okay.
Yeah, I know. It's not cheap, but I think it's important to get that accomplished. Yes, sir.
We built the new jail, so we have the facilities to take care of people now. But nationally, it seems to be the trend that when we're dealing with the addiction problem, and Garland County has a terrible problem with addiction, they're going more and more to treatment as where possible as opposed to incarceration. Do we have a plan? Do we have something in the works to help Garland County be more progressive on that?
I think not only the drug problem, but the mental health problem is a big issue in our jail. We're seeing more and more of that rise. They're taking up bed space and they really don't need to be there. I was at a county judge's meeting a week ago, and one of the biggest priorities that they're putting in place is to work with the state to get some district mental health facilities, so that when they identify mental health in the jail, we have people on staff that evaluates those people. They have a place to go that will actually help. And that's coming around here in the next year or so. In fact, I got meetings at the end of this month with the Association of Counties and some other people about the very same thing. Yes, I think we need more than just a jail to get people help.
Hey, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So
Quick
are you
question.
talking about a new facility to put the mentally ill people that?
They're finding, what they're doing in different parts of the state is they're looking for facilities that are already there, that meet the criteria, and then having that facility operated by the state, not the county, because we don't want to get the mental health business. And I don't think the city does either, but it would be a state facility. And I think in past years, you've seen the mental health facilities around the state, they've kind of been closed down and shut down, and I think we're lacking in that area. So those are things that basically we're working with different people at the state to get accomplished.
And doesn't the new jail, it has like classes and stuff for drug addiction and everything?
It does. It has, that's what's unique about our jail, is the fact that it has those programs to help people get the help they need in drug. And faith-based is also a piece that's out there. I know Jerry talked about separation. He's gone. Separation between government and church, but the reality that's the biggest success ratio we have. About 30% success ratio with the other programs, and about nationwide there's about 40 to 60% success ratio with faith-based. So.
Okay, thank you. Clay Herrmann is next. He's also a candidate for county judge. And in the interest of fairness, you can have the same amount of time. That mic is messing up. It keeps cutting off, so if you want to come up here. Or just speak loudly, whatever you want to do.
My name is Clay Herrmann, and my great-grandfather, Lemuel Lowry, homesteaded in the northern part of Garland County and part of what's in the Fountain Lake School District almost 100 years ago. And so I have pretty deep roots in Garland County. I was not born here. I was born in San Bernardino, California, which has been in the news not so long ago for some tragedy. My father was in the Air Force there, and I was born as a military dependent and moved around every few years for the Air Force and then later for IBM. Came back, well, got married when I was 23 years old with a child, a daughter, enlisted in the Air Force. Looked at that Constitution pretty carefully because I hadn't done that before, and I was going to hold my hand up and solemnly affirm that I would uphold that instrument as a member of the U.S. military. So I gave that considerable thought before I went through with that. Maybe most people don't, but I did, and I take that promise seriously. When I was about 5 years later, I had separated from the Air Force and moved back in 1987 to Garland County, but was still in the Air Force as an individual mobility augmentee, which means you don't have a reserve unit, you don't have a guard unit, you plug in part-time to the regular Air Force. And that's what I did at school as an instructor for the Air Education and Training Command, and retired as a Master Sergeant from the Air Force. But I was here in Arkansas and looking for something to do, became a real estate broker over a couple of years, and I've been helping people buy and sell real estate in Garland County, in and around Garland County, and sometimes elsewhere, for over a quarter of a century now. Office is located next door to the Fountain Lake Dollar General Store, across the street immediately from the entrance to Fountain Lake Elementary School, catty corner from the Fountain Lake Sonic, and located about midway between the city of Hot Springs and Hot Springs Village, where we do a lot of our work also. A member of the Hot Springs Village and the Hot Springs Boards of Realtors. I'm a director on the Hot Springs Village Board of Realtors. And I'm running for Garland County Judge. And maybe some of you will ask me why, but let me first tell you the process. I'm running as an independent, so I didn't have a party to back me. I couldn't just pay a fee, as the party candidates do, and get on the ballot for the primary. But I got to skip the primary the way I did it altogether because I got about 1,200 signatures, turned them in to Sarah Smith, there, our county clerk, and then it was her prescribed duty to review those and see if I had a sufficient number of legitimate, legal Garland County registered voters to have them put me on the ballot directly in the general election. And that's what happened, and that's why I'll be on the ballot along with Rick. That'll be your two choices. You can vote for Rick. He'll have the R beside him, and that stands for it doesn't really stand for Rhino. I'll skip that joke. It stands for Republican. And then I'll have an I beside mine, and that's for independent. So I don't have a party affiliation that I'm running as a candidate under. There's a poster I'd like all of you, if you would, on the back row to get a copy of. It's got a picture of me on it, and it says $500 reward, dead or alive. And it'll be self-explanatory. You'll take that and read it, and there's information on the other side. Included on the other side is a list of all of the county judges beginning from 1874, when the first county judge appeared, and to present. And so there's a little historical information there that would be of interest to you, even if you have no interest at all in getting that $500 reward. And then there's another thing like this. If you take one of those, I'd appreciate it. It tells you why I'm running for county judge in large measure. And the reason I'm running for county judge is because I'm motivated to want to maximize transparency and accountability in our Garland County government. And I have a list of 4 things. I'll tell you the first one here, and if you would read the others, and I'll be happy to answer any questions to any degree of detail you would care to discuss it. But the first of these is, by the way, we have a couple of directors, city directors here now, and you may know that in the city government, they broadcast on public television the board of directors meetings, right? The county doesn't do that, and it seems that the county doesn't want to do that. Occasionally, I have gone in and I have videoed and then put on YouTube and put on the website, garlandcounty.info, those videos, so that that's something I can do sometimes when I have time to maximize transparency and accountability of our elected officials. It would be nice to see, at your convenience, at home, what the county legislature, which is what the quorum court is, it's the county legislature, and it's presided over by the county judge, who has veto authority over anything that might pass. If he doesn't like what they're passing, he can veto it. And it would be nice, in my view, to be able to watch those things yourself and conveniently without having to go to the courthouse and sit there. And also, it's good for them too. It's good for the JPs, it's good for the county judge, it's good for the county in general, and it's certainly good for the citizens to be able to watch and see what those officials are doing. And it could be either for you, and it could also be to you. And so that's the number one thing. There are 3 other specific measures that I want to implement. Also want to live stream and archive. That's all under number 1, and there's 3 other issues. So, thank you.
Okay, any questions? Quick questions, please.
Yes. The county judge works closely with the sheriff's department in Garland County. There's a big trend in state and nationally for body cams and dash cams because while I do respect our law enforcement in this county, there's always the question of possible abuse of power. Do you support the body cams, the required use of body cams and dash cams? And if so, do you think that we should invest in them immediately, or what would you do on that situation?
Well, I don't want to spend $4.5 million on body cams. The short answer is yes, and I would refer you to, if you get this thing, what my major intended purpose as a candidate for county judge is to maximize transparency and accountability, and certainly body cams on law enforcement officials could be, I think should be a part of that. I don't know exactly what's best, but there's lots of law enforcement agencies all over the country that people could reference, and lots of them have been doing intensive research, different departments, because they've had to because of some of the tragedies that have happened, and the pressure is really on to look at body cameras on everyone. So as a general idea, yes, yes, and yes.
Okay. Any others? Thank you. Okay, all right.
Clay, you're a real estate broker. I have a constituent that I've talked to on both of my campaigns, and I just talked with her a couple days ago. And she said about my first campaign that she was voting for my opponent because he was going to be the president of the board of realtors, and he would take care of the realtors if he was on the quorum court. So my question to you is, if you're elected judge, will you still continue your current way you earn income, which is a real estate broker, and if so, how will that affect your judgment as a county judge?
Well, thank you. I think that's an excellent question, and I don't mind a bit answering that. If I should be so blessed, or would it be cursed as to win?
I don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah. I would have to, well, one of 2 things I could do. I would have to suspend my company's activities altogether. My wife, if she wanted to keep selling, she could put her license with another company. She's a grandmother with 5 grandchildren, and I think she'd like to take at least a 2-year break, which is the current term of office for county judge, though you'll have a chance in November 8th to change that to a 4-year term. That's, I think, that's issue ballot number 1, I think, on the ballot. It would not take effect immediately. I understand it would take effect in 2018. What part of your question did I skip?
What effect would your
Well, we can't answer that.
would your yeah, you should answer it, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.